right, listeners, welcome to episode 0 of the Couch Command podcast, where we journey through geekness, brought to you by popgeeks.com. I love that website name. With me today, I have Sabrina.
I'm always here. I'm here forever. Can't get rid of me.
You may have heard her at the Star Trek podcast we've been doing. We also have with us today, Matt.
Hey, how's it going?
Cool. Lastly, we have with us my longtime friend since freshman year of college, high school. We're that old. Max.
Yes, we are that old. Hey, everybody. It's good. Really good to be here.
Cool. I've been wanting to do a just science fiction geek podcast for a long time. We finally got our shit together, and after a long time of doing Star Trek and then talking to people, here we are to talk about some dorkness. Today we're going to be doing a podcast about the movie Stargate, because it's kind of brought a lot of us together in a strange way. I can't wait to dig into that. But before we do that, I'd like to ask Matt, what have you been geeking on lately?
Well, I have actually finally started watching Dragon Ball Super.
Oh, dude.
Yeah. I just forced my way through the first part of it with
Beerus?
Beerus, yep, and Frieza resurrected, and I just got to the tournament.
Dragon Ball Super is as good as we thought Dragon Ball Z was going to be.
That's
right.
Awesome.
Really?
Yeah, Dragon Ball Z to us, that was there was more of a drought of geekness, especially of anime. So since it was one of the only things we had, we fell in love with it, and it was great having that journey, watching that goddamn fight with Frieza that lasted 2 months.
Gosh, yes.
Oh my god. It was
Sorry, I was watching Slayers at the time.
Slayers. Oh yeah, we were watching that too. But this was on TV, and
nice.
yeah.
Jealous then.
So we all we're all synchronized on this anime, but
gotcha.
it lasted far too long, dragged out, and then Dragon Ball Super, on the other hand, I'll spoil this one thing that has nothing to do with the plot, but just how the two shows are paced, where you knock out Goku, and all you need to do is get him a Sensu bean to heal him up and get him back in the fight. You won't see that happen for 6 weeks, and it just will drive you fucking crazy. In this Dragon Ball Super, me and Matt's brother are watching it, and our jaws dropped when they're Goku's knocked out, and he needs a Sensu bean, and Krillin just goes in the bag, walks over, and puts it in his mouth, and Goku gets back up. We're like, oh my god.
What? You just skipped all the filler?
But,
interesting. All right, I might actually have to watch it.
Yeah, and
I was a big fan of Dragon Ball, but
fair enough.
not Z.
Yeah, it's good in the way that you thought it was going to be. And the first part is you have to push through it. And then once you get to the Universal Tournament, you will see some of the greatest fights in fictional history, to the point where there's one episode where something happens, it's an incredible fight, and people say, you might want to record yourself when you see this happen. And I didn't believe them. And I was watching it. I usually when I'm watching my geek stuff, I want it at my setup. I need my surround sound. I watched it at my mom's house. I was like, how good could it be? And I jumped up. I screamed. I flailed around. I put my hand over my mouth, and I watched it 8 more times in a row, because I was like, oh my fucking... Anyway.
Good.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
good.
You're in for a ride, Matt.
Yeah, and I suspect that when I get to that fight, because you've mentioned this a couple of times, I'll know that I'm there, because I'm going to guess the lead up is still pretty good to it. So I'll be sure to record myself.
That's
cool.
Yeah, but yeah, man. Look now that I'm to the tournament, I'm looking forward to seeing some stuff happen. The one thing I'm disappointed by is that Yamcha still isn't fighting.
Yeah. It's funny that the anime now seems to know the meme jokes, though, because they give Yamcha a hard time a couple times in that show.
Oh, I'm sure they do.
Yeah,
I'm sure they do.
But the thing that bothers me, I don't know. I mean, it's everybody's a heavy hitter. Once you get to this point, and where they'll just be Vegeta and Goku are just gonna pop off and go into the chamber thing or whatever and train for 3 years. And it's no big deal. But I think they're so far ahead of everybody. But if you think about it, Yamcha can fly, and shoot energy beams from his hands, and he's a human. Like, it's crazy.
He's tougher than anybody else on Earth, at least.
Yeah, besides like Earthlings, besides Krillin, I would think, right?
Right.
Currently,
but I've been taught by some friends about the ways of professional wrestling and understanding certain terms. And Yamcha has the honor of being a jobber, and he's one of the greatest of all time of being a jobber.
Yeah, though
and
I mean,
a jobber. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, yeah, I agree. He's a total jobber.
You're gonna have to explain.
Jobber announces the threat. He's the one who steps up to get beat the fuck down to let everyone know that this bad guy means business.
He's the canary. I got it.
Yeah, there you go.
Did one of you guys mention Worf?
Worf.
Yeah,
he gets jobs
Worf
so
is a
much.
jobber through a lot of TNG.
Oh, yeah, he sure is.
Yeah, because everybody knows.
That's inaccurate.
Yeah, because everybody knows how tough Worf is, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so if Worf gets taken down...
You said drive me crazy. Yeah.
Yep, so...
I just wanted, like, a couple episodes where Worf could just go to it.
Well, sometimes we got him in the Worf episodes where, like, he'd be, like, doing the covert ninja stuff, doing some Klingon stuff, so... We got to see him whoop ass.
Yeah, I mean, it got better in DS9.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sure did, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
By like light years. But anyway, sorry.
But, like, all the writing got better in DS9, so...
Yeah, true facts.
Matt, anything else you want to talk about with your geekery?
I mean, briefly, and you know this, Keith, I've been digging on EDF 4.1.
Oh, bro! That game is so much fun.
It's ridiculous fun. Today, I actually went in and played by myself, which
nice,
I've
dude.
never done before. And for you guys, if you don't know, I don't know if you do, EDF, they're just these games where like you run around and you kill giant bugs.
So far, eventually we will graduate up to kaiju and UFOs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Sweet.
Is it like VR or?
Third person, it's like it's a 6-year-old game or 5-year-old game.
Yeah, it's
and for people, if you're coming up from HDA radio, it's basically Ultraman without Ultraman. In Ultraman, you have a strike force of like of science heroes with guns and special sci-fi weapons, and they roll out into a city that's being attacked by giant monsters, and you're there to fight back against the giant monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and it's you and up to 3 other friends, and you can pick like a jetpack chick, a dude who can call vehicles, a guy with guns, and the guy with the bigger guns.
Guy with guns and guy with bigger guns.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun and pretty hilarious.
Yeah.
Is there an advantage to being like reasonable sized gunman versus gigantic gunman? Because why would you just not take the bigger guns?
The gigantic gunman frustrates me too much, so I haven't seen how good that part is. I don't know, Doc, did you?
Matt, I briefly used Giant Gunman, and they have like these huge suits of armor, and they're super slow unless you're using
they're glaciers. Okay.
Jump jets, though.
Yeah,
of course.
So like the firepower comes at a disadvantage, and then like the jetpack women, very fast, very mobile, decent.
Die easy. You
got it. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But they can, fly away, and they got the distance.
Sure. They're like the like assassins from Half-Life. They jump around. They're whoopee, but smack them once and they die.
Basically. Yep.
And the gun guy is the even between all of them.
Yeah.
With the biggest, badass, most killer guns.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then the person that calls the things down, that's an aerator, and that's what Keith's been using a lot. And really what I've found is it's very hard starting out because almost nothing you have is an actual weapon.
Okay.
I started trying to use it. I had something called a limpet gun, and what that does is it marks other things for other people to kill.
No. You shoot like a splat of something, and then if you right click, then that splat explodes.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dang it!
It is not easy to use at first, but once you get like turrets, then it's on. You're a god among men. You can just lay waste, and then also you can finally get power armors, and eventually you can get like skyscraper-sized giant robots.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Mm-hmm.
worth putting in the work. But yeah, so those are my two main things I'd say that I'm geeking out on right now. Keith.
Right on. Max, what have you been geeking on lately?
So I'm trying to finish a certain book series, and it's amazing, and I won't. I think
Three-body problem.
Okay.
Three-body problem.
Right, exactly.
Oh, is that it?
Yeah.
It's actually the next thing I'm reading after the book that I'm reading now.
You won't be disappointed. It is a lift to get into, but it's amazing. But
that's not a problem.
Okay, excellent.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, but the first book is deceptively boring.
Yeah.
First two
yeah,
books,
and then so what I found is that is like the back end of it is like you like work to get through the first two books, right? I'm like halfway through the third one, and it just feels like such work, and you're like doing your homework through it all, and then like you hit some certain tipping point in like maybe the last 20-25% of the book, and then you're just like, what? I'm done. It just like blasts through, and it's just like a wild, intense ride through the ends of both of them. So I love them both. The third book is much different, but and it's good all the way through. It's just fun, and I'm just with COVID, quarantine, everything. It's hard to finish anything, but yeah.
Right. I feel like it's almost you get a kind of Mr. Miyagi experience, where like you're like, what the fuck?
Just like, what am I doing with this wax on, wax off?
Yeah, for so long, and I'm so bored. What are you doing? Oh my god! And then he shows you how to do it, and you're like at the end, like, what the fuck was that? And then like by the last book, you're doing full kung fu.
Yeah, like call back to DBZ. It's just like I'm in like training in the gravity room over and over and over, and then like suddenly I'm flying. So like,
that's great. I mean, honestly, I think I read these two, and Max, I agree with you completely. Like the last 25% of the first book, it just suddenly takes off. That's when it really gets going. Yep. But I probably wouldn't have finished it if Keith hadn't said, like, a lot of people don't make it through the first part.
Keith is all about shaming on this book.
Don't feel bad if you give up. I'm like, I'll show you. Yeah. I'm going to make it through this book, even if it's
what? That's not with the book. That's just that Keith knows how to manipulate.
Oh, I know.
Exactly.
I know. I
was
upset.
No. I'm telling the truth as well.
Yeah.
Keith, you're like me. I like bullying people.
Exactly. No, I'll get DMs from Keith.
Well, no,
I'll get DMs from Keith like, hey, how you doing in the book? And I'm like, I'm making breakfast. Leave me alone.
Okay, like, I'm sorry, but like, after I finally like survived all three books, like hearing other people like say like things about it, it's just so much fun, and like I just can't wait for people to go, oh my god, and yeah.
I'm totally with you. I understand how satisfying it is to have people like chat you up and like live blog you about stuff that you introduce them to. Like, nothing makes me happier. But also, I'm laughing at the idea that you thought you could put the three of us in a podcast with you, and it would end up into us kind of making fun of this.
I'm honored that now this is on display for everyone to hear.
The great thing is, I know Keith so well. Like, I know the giddy expression he has as he's like typing these things to me. I'm like, just wait, man.
Yeah. Sorry.
So, but okay.
Go ahead.
All right, so you can launch into more three-body problems if that's your thing, Keith. But like otherwise,
we'll be here all day.
Of course you will. But otherwise, I've been. Keith hates this. I watch a lot of TV while I'm washing dishes, like on my phone.
On his phone,
and like that gives Keith cancer. But yeah, so I know, right? So I'm getting through the Expanse, which I love the books, and
nice.
And it's been ages since I watched the first couple episodes, and I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna hit this when I can just power through sometime. And it's been like 2 years, and I'm finally into it again, and I love it. It's just like a good, realistic sci-fi, and I miss being in spaceships. But then, you know what that's like. Just like there's this dearth of good spaceships around, or creative spaceships, and flying out space. It's good to be in. But otherwise, I'm doing a lot of geeking out with my boys. I just got my sons into Avatar, and that is so fun to watch from their eyes.
Let's have another episode to talk about Avatar.
Oh my god, it's the best.
We'll do that.
Keith, I don't know if that was you or somebody else who posted like Avatar is the gateway drug to harder anime, and that's I can see Liam like developing a habit already, so that's fun.
Oh my god.
So I've got two boys. Liam's 9, Neil is almost 5, and they look like identical copies of each other, but they're very, very different. Like Neil, the little guy is like this like little dwarven battle rager, and like Liam would be like the elf, the elf wizard.
I would say Liam is like Liam is very Vulcanish, I think.
Yes, yeah, he's like an engineer type, and
yeah. Oh my god!
And then the other boy is a straight up berserker, can't stop. Who hates Decepticons? So
I mean, so he fights for good, but he fights hard. But yeah. So
what about your RPG game, man? Though,
it was going to be that kind of party. Yeah. So
of course it is.
So we've been hopping back and forth between systems. I think a lot of us are just we've got a Tuesday night crew that we get together. Right now, everybody's remote, and that's working pretty well over Roll20, which is I don't know, some work to get, like it's some fiddly work to get it set up, but it's a really good solid platform, especially when you've got somebody who knows what they're doing running into that.
Yep.
So that's good fun, and I'm just rocking around with a couple of the guys I've been gaming with for quite some time, so we know each other and our kind of little ticks and how to play off each other.
What systems are you guys jumping through?
Yeah, that's what I was going to
So 5th edition is just kind of the it's mean to call it pablum, but all of us are like, this is easy. It's not quite what we want, but like we can just like get anything set up in like 3 minutes in it. And so it's not a deep system, and it just feels like generic, almost memed RPG. Like this is a role playing game, and yes, it's a granddaddy role playing game. It's Dungeons and Dragons, so it does Dungeons and Dragons things, but everything feels like softened up and super accessible Dungeons and Dragons.
Cardboardy?
Right, yeah. I think that's a good description. So it's just a little bit nothing has quite the depth that I like, because I get real simulationist in my RPGs, and not that
excellent. I'm happy to hear that. Okay. I have that problem. People are always like, you're taking the rules too seriously, and I'm like, what? No.
Yeah.
No. You just do it right, Sabrina.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And and then so we were playing Star Wars RPG for a while, the new Fantasy Flight games, which is good. Everyone got weirded out by the wonky dice, which just kind of seemed gimmicky. I liked it once we got used to it, but it's we just kind of drifted away.
With miniatures and stuff?
That's not. Now they've got the miniature space game for it, like flying around, almost like a space board game, and you've got your little spaceship figures. And our buddy Dave, and Keith knows Dave, has probably sunk I don't know, at least a year of college tuition into buying figures and spaceships and stuff for this. He's got like a whole wing of his basement devoted to these things, and they're amazing. But we play that like once a year. Dave. No, but my real deep dark geekness is some of the crew and I are working on developing a space RPG, like space opera RPG. That's I've been trying to figure out the exact timeline and setting, and so I've got like God knows how many Google Docs devoted to this. Last summer I got really excited about it because I found I think it was Caltech who has one of NASA's lists of all the stars and where they are from each other, or not where they are from each other, but where they are from us, right? So this is all the stars with exoplanets. And I'm like, all right. So I grabbed this and pulled it into Excel because I'm kind of an Excel geek for work. And so I was able to relearn trigonometry and figure out how to calculate how far any of these planets are from each other. So if you just point a direction and I point a different direction, how far those two planets are from one another. So then I was like, okay, then I can jump. So this is unhealthy level of simulationist, some would say. So I could figure out how far.
You make me do the Miyagi nod at you.
How long that light speed jump would take between those two worlds, right? So I'm like putting together star maps and things like that. So given how I usually work on things, in about 35 years, I'll have a fully realized game system from this. Yeah, so I mean, you'll probably beat me to the punch. But yeah, that's my little slice of life over here. It's definitely good stuff.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, if you need somebody to playtest that system, or if you want somebody to just like double check that it makes sense from an outsider's perspective, please send that my way.
Yeah.
I appreciate that level of detail. I actually do.
Yeah, I'm trying to keep it fun. One of my big complaints was with my old D&D game. I ran like this 8-year campaign, and it was good stuff. And I got real dissatisfied with the system at mid levels. This was 3.5, so D&D 3.5 and Pathfinder, and I was like, it turned into Rocket Tag at what's everybody. It was like 15th, 16th level. So I kind of tried to subtly convert everything into Shadowrun. So I rewrote Shadowrun as a fantasy RPG, which I loved. Right, so you basically just pull all the cyberware out of it, and it's and just restat all the guns. But I loved it, and one of my other players loved it, and everyone else looked like they got thrown into a coma. Like the second the dice came out.
Is it still piles of D6s?
Oh yeah, it's like it's Dave. Our buddy Dave, who likes to blow stuff up. Just roll 35 d6s for your fireball damage, and then take stun. But so yeah, it's trying to balance that, what's fun for me and what's satisfying to me versus what's actually fun. What's really fun for the players and what's marketable. So
right.
Thinking about that.
I recommend Savage Worlds.
Oh, you keep doing that, sure. And I'm gonna have to.
Eventually, it's just so massively customizable, but I'm not sure how deep it goes. Like, for what we like a long time ago now, like maybe a year ago, we played like online game of it, and it was just so easy to get that we just were playing like almost right away.
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'm not sure if that's what you're looking for,
but
you might be able to cannibalize pieces.
Yeah,
of it.
I don't know. It depends. I remember somebody got me to play Big Eyes Small Mouth, which is a fun RPG.
Yep, I played.
Oh wow.
And it's good stuff.
It's anime based.
It's super anime based, but it's
what? No, I know it. I just haven't. I played that like 20 years ago or something.
Right.
I just
same like 15 years ago probably.
Yeah, I just haven't heard that name in a long time.
Oh, there you go.
Yep.
But my thing with that was it was like, can I do the thing? And the answer is always yes, you can do the thing. And so
yes,
right. So that's fun to some extent, but then when you want any sort of like tension, or you want the players to have a chance of failing, it's really hard, or at least for us, it was really hard to make anybody have a chance of failing to do the thing. So, got to work on that.
Right. Well, yeah, I mean that's kind of like you had mentioned the Fantasy Flight Star Wars RPG earlier, and that's mostly a storytelling RPG.
Very much.
They're not terribly concerned with rules; they're concerned about you telling a story, and
it does a great job of that. It really does. I think
it really does, and like when I played it, we were in constant danger. We were constantly getting in trouble, but yeah, I don't know if we were ever really in trouble, but we were all very invested. So I guess it came down to like the storytelling and whatnot of it.
I mean, it always comes down to your DM.
It always comes down to the DM.
Inevitably.
Yeah, that's so true. That's so true, Sabrina. But yeah, like I think we had a good game. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Nice.
Good. Why are you apologizing?
We're Canadian. I'm sorry. No.
Yeah, there's no more.
I'm actually Canadian,
outstanding.
though.
What part of Pakistan are you from?
Pakistan. Cool. I'm from Montreal.
Do you speak French?
They forced them to.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
Oh my god!
Have you never asked me this before?
I have never. This has barely come up.
Okay, they don't actually. You're supposed to learn French and English, so like you get taught the other language in school, but like actually a lot of them do not know each other's languages and like
really?
don't like to.
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
that's what.
Yeah, like it's still a big thing.
I've known a couple Quebecers who are very, very pro. I forget the exact term for it, but very much pro French side and like are like secessionist Quebecois or whatever.
Yeah, secessionists.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is kind of an interesting conversation, but
yeah, the last vote for secession actually happened right before I moved to the States.
No kidding.
I remember it still. Yeah, that's weird. Mm-hmm. Anyway, enough of history. Let's go.
Sabrina, what have you been geeking on lately?
Well, I feel like I'm just going to continue in this vein. I don't know if you had the chance to watch, but
I haven't.
Recently, I've been doing a lot of tabletop roleplay as well. Just like having more free time from being stuck inside. Just jumped up the numbers of how I'm doing it, and like I got my partner into it, and he started like making games. So he's using a Dungeon World system to do like a My Hero
nice
roleplay,
fun.
and it's amazing. Like he's made everybody's characters separately. So like mine has a black hole, so that's pretty dope. But I also like designed a different one that's like an investigative supernatural one. It's so simple. It's just like everybody gets a D4.
Okay.
It's D4 plus your stat. If you have 1 through 4, then like it's a fail. That's painful. Like it'll give you a -1 on something. 5 and 6 fail. 7, 8, 9 weak success. 10, 11 strong success, and then 12 you can overdo
sweet.
it.
I like that.
So for example, you know, like it's a ghost game. So you have attunement. If you're trying to communicate with a ghost and you roll a 4, like you won't even see it. If you're trying to communicate with a ghost and you roll in a 10, like you can see it and talk to it. And if you roll a 12, it will possess you.
Whoa.
Damn.
Neat.
So stuff like that. I was very excited about it. The game went well. It still has some glitches, but you know, playtests are what they are.
Are these on your Twitch?
Yes.
That's cool.
Yes, it should be.
Cool. And where can people find your Twitch? Just real quickly,
sorry. Hey guys, I'm on Twitch. You can find me at VoidCat Gaming. I think I saved that one, but I'll clip it if I didn't to make sure it stays up.
Please.
Yeah. It was very exciting. Yeah. It has flaws again, but yeah.
And that's the only tabletop RPG you've been doing? Because I thought you've been doing like some for your birthday that went like for like 8 hours or something.
That's what that one was.
Oh, cool.
It did not go for 8 hours. It might have gone for 6.
That's awesome.
Actually. No, we planned for it to go for
bad.
6 because when I play tested it went for 6, but they actually only needed 4 hours. Yes, that was that. But
Cool.
I've also been playing, I'm starting a sci-fi one actually next week.
Boy.
It's not Savage Worlds, I'm sorry. I did check out Savage Worlds, but it didn't fit what we wanted for that particular plot.
What does fit and why doesn't it fit?
I don't know, you would have to ask my GM.
Oh, okay. I thought you were
I'm not the
GM.
one GMing that game.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else?
I want to
talk
play
about?
sometimes. Oh, yeah. Anything else? I recently started Demon Slayer.
Oh,
anime?
yeah.
Oh my god, that anime goes hard.
I have started it. And,
Immediately.
Like,
it's just immediate. Like, oh my god. It does not pull punches, it just goes. And it's beautiful. Like, the attacks stylistically are beautiful. Just like, if you know Japanese mythology, it's great. It's just, it's great. It's great. It's great.
And it's one of the first anime or mangas ever in, like, I think 20 years to best One Piece
Really?
in sales. Yep. I feel like the first time ever, like, One Piece finally has been dethroned by Demon Slayer.
Oh my god! I'll tell you what.
Wow.
I'm gonna check it out again now because I started watching it and I think I got about 3 episodes in and I just trailed off. Yeah, I just lost interest.
Same.
But
although, like, it was really good what I saw. But
I don't know why I stopped. Maybe I got distracted by something else. But
there's plenty of stuff like that. Like, it just happens.
it just happens. Yeah, and usually for most anime, I'll know like give it like the 3 episodes. If I like keep watching after 3 episodes, good to go. But I'm gonna give this another shot, and we'll see how it goes.
Cool. We'll all just try each other's stuff out.
I like it.
It's gonna be great.
Yeah.
Speaking of trying each other's stuff out, Keith, what are you doing?
Oh, all right. Over here, what I've been doing. One of the most recent things I've been doing is reconnecting with 80s movies and whatnot, and I decided to finally check out this Conan ripoff called Conquest, and
is that the one with Destro on the cover?
Yeah, it's a lady though. She's got like a gold mask and nothing else on.
Lady
and
Destro.
She often has sex with a
snake.
Sex with a snake a lot in that movie. And, like when I say a lot, like it happens in more than one scene. Like usually it's like this.
That's a lot.
Usually like one scene's like we're introducing how weird and kinky she is, and that's what we did. And then like it's like no, we're doing it again. And in this scene, like all right, and like weirdly enough, like I quote unquote enjoyed the movie. It's because it was so consistently weird. Although I can't say that I loved it. Like my favorite of that genre is Sword and the Sorcerer, which Max likes to laugh at me at because the hero has an awesome sword that has 3 blades. It is the most amazingly awful sword possible.
Do tell.
It's got 3 blades and 2 of them shoot off. It's awesome.
Wait, what?
It just gives me a headache.
It's 3 blades that shoot.
No, that's not cool. That's not what swords are for.
Oh, apparently they are, because it works. Like, the bad guys, they don't walk away from that. But
physics is different in that universe, I guess.
So like, I love this genre, and in Conquest, I do recommend looking at it. It's just like you see people get ripped up in half, and I don't know. It was a weird movie. It was I enjoyed the experience. Other than that, let's see. Any other dorkness? Didn't plowing my way through Stargate, but we'll be getting to that.
You're almost done.
I feel so sad that you're like almost finished. Like I just wish that you could prolong it forever.
Granted, you have Universe, but
right, yeah, agreed.
Yeah,
agreed.
Stargate.
It's just like the end of Atlantis is like, oh, why? And then Universe is like, okay, I gotta pursue this now.
Yeah, I can tell. Like all these things are dropping. Atlantis, like, wow, this show could have gotten even better. And
yes,
I'm taking it as slow as possible because this was just a treasure to find.
I'm so glad.
So much fun, but we'll get deeper into that once we do the actual podcast.
Oh, what's that? Oh.
The movie that we're going to be reviewing.
Oh, right.
Cool.
Okay.
So, what, here, we're going to be doing this on the fly. Everyone can hear it happen. So, once upon a time I did a podcast, this is when I would say, alright, we're going to take a break right now and come right back. And then we save our files, because back in those days, like, our computers were just a little less stable. And like we didn't want to make sure we didn't lose what we recorded. So yes, we're going to take a break this time, stop recording, and then we'll come back on the other side to review Stargate.
Okay,
sweet. Right. Are we good?
Cool. All right. Yes, we are. We're stopping now. See you guys on the other side, and we'll be right back.
It has been buried for thousands of years. A mystery. A secret. A threshold to the future.
Where'd you find this? I've never seen anything like this.
One man will break the code and open the door.
Well, this should read Stargate. That was in front of us the whole time.
The other will lead the way.
Why are you here?
I'm here in case you succeed.
Jackson's identified the 7th symbol.
Backup storage, reserve power, on.
What is it?
It's your Stargate.
We've opened a doorway to a world we know nothing about.
Theme has locked itself onto a point somewhere in the Kalium galaxy.
It's on the other side of the known universe.
Your turn now.
They prepared for danger.
Begin final evacuation.
They expected the unknown.
Stabilizing system.
Initiated commencement sequence.
But they could never have imagined this. What a rush.
Stay right here and shoot anything that comes down that ramp.
Your job here is to realign the Stargate. Can you do that or not?
I can't.
What the hell is going on? My orders were simple. Track down signs of any possible danger. I found some.
I can't make it work without the 7th symbol.
We have to abandon base camp!
You got 7 minutes.
Now, the most amazing discovery of our time.
Yes, wait for me.
Is about to become the most extraordinary adventure of all time. Kurt Russell, James Spader, Jay Davidson. Stargate. A Roland Emmerich film.
All right, we're back for Stargate. Chevron 7 encoded. That's Stargate talk. If you get into the show, Matt.
Oh,
Matt.
right.
You should get into the show.
Right.
All right, I started.
Just skip SG1. Watch Atlantis.
I started watching the first episode of SG1.
I hope you finished the first episode of SG1.
Well, no, I couldn't. Because I started watching at like 9:15, and we started talking at 9:30.
All good.
Okay, fair enough.
You can get back to it. It's a slow burn. So, getting to like the bigger story around this that I may have orchestrated a little bit. This starts with Star Wars. Because everything does. We'd hit like a rut of like good fiction and good science fiction around that era. Like for me, when I thought Star Wars is coming back, I thought we were about to see all of like what we've seen build up in science fiction and space opera, new special effects. We left George Lucas behind, and I was waiting to see a ballet of like great space fiction unfold before me. And then I got the pie in the face as the show, the first movie, Force Awakens, for me was just like empty, and like I walked out of there like I was the first person in line.
All right.
Yeah, I was the first person.
Walked out there like, all right.
Yeah, I was the first person in line, and like all my friends were very excited to see my excitement as we walked out. And as we walked out, I was like, yeah, they kind of wiped out all the victories of the past movies. What's going on here?
Did, yeah.
So then The Last Jedi happens, and I'm just like, all right, guys, everything's going to be fine. Rian Johnson is my favorite director of all time, so everybody's about to see some shit. And I turned around like, guys, watch this! And like 2 pies hit my face. And I just like started crying. And I'm just like, what's going on here? And like, Max, you stayed mad while I was starting to cool off, going, well, this is a shit show. But you're like, no, Keith, don't talk me down. I'm mad. I'm gonna be mad. So then that's when I said, you know what? I think we shouldn't listen to the Stargate program,
right?
Because like I had a feeling that like it was made way before any of the bullshit of like Trump or how they're making fiction now. And I always suspected that there had to be a reason why it has like 20 seasons and so many fans.
Pre-streaming.
Yeah. So we disliked it. We made fun of it all up to this point. Max finished it before I did. And like I didn't like it at first, but then yeah, it won me over. And I've been having fun since. So I think it was appropriate. It was Sabrina's idea that the first podcast should be this movie.
Yes, Stargate.
So
good call on
I'd
that.
like to start with Sabrina. What'd you think of the movie?
I mean, obviously, it's been colored by my love of the show, but it's always really fun for me to watch because I'm a big fan of Atlantis. I'm not so big a fan of SG1. It is like the first one I saw, obviously, because I saw it when it was running. But it was like one that I caught every once in a while of a couple of episodes for, so it was kind of jumbled for a while. Finally watched all of it a while later. And then it's really interesting to go back to the movie and like see where they don't match the characters from the show. Like they did a really good job matching people facially. Like when you look at the actors side by side and the actress in some cases, like all of them were pretty well copied, but like their attitudes not the same. Like Daniel, okay, maybe, but like Jack, nothing the same.
Yeah.
Even like Kowalski, I know he's not in a lot of episodes, but Kowalski, like you can't really imitate French Stewart. Let's be honest. I mean,
Yeah,
Kowalski.
no, I really like Kowalski in the show, and I don't know, nobody's that fleshed out in the movie, right?
They're really not.
Yeah.
No.
Well, hold on. I got a question, and I don't want to be that guy, but I thought it was French Stewart, Kowalski, or Ferretti.
I don't remember. Was Kowalski not supposed to be him?
I think because I specifically, as I was watching the movie, and I'm sorry, this is
No, that's fine.
yeah, but I just remember at one point being like, "Is that French Stewart? Why is French Stewart in this?"
Weren't you doing Third Rock when this came out?
Yeah,
what's going on?
And yes, French Stewart is Kowalski at first.
Oh, really?
Then it turns into a different guy.
Yeah, he's Ferretti, I thought, and then
hold on.
I'm looking.
What?
And then, actually, I don't know. No, I don't know who French Stewart is. I thought the guy that I'm looking at was French Stewart, but he was never on Third Walk from the Sun. Wait. So was one of the guys Harry Connick Jr. then?
What?
All right. So
what?
The point I was actually making there was that the characters are so different from each other that I can't even tell which character from the movie Kowalski is supposed to be.
Boom! Point made.
Well, yeah, you nailed that one.
Thank you.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Yeah.
Wait, is Harry Connick Jr. in the movie?
I don't.
Or am I looking at? Or do I think French Stewart is?
Why do you think Harry Connick Jr. is in the movie?
All right, I'm calling it.
I think
I'm saying
French
no.
Kowalski, French Stewart, whatever that guy is. I thought.
No, you're right. French Stewart is Ferretti.
But Harry Connick Jr. is not in the movie whatsoever.
Oh, and Lieutenant Kowalski's the John. No, he's not.
Oh right. Okay. I mistook French Stewart for Harry Connick Jr.
Okay.
They have that same look.
Oh, can I point out, like, while we're talking about actors, a fun thing, Richard Kind is in every incarnation of Stargate.
Really?
Except probably Stargate Universe. Yeah, he's in this movie as, like, the bumbling, guy who gets corrected by Daniel.
Yeah.
And then he plays a bumbling guy somewhere in SG-1, and then he plays that, like, dude that everybody's like, oh my god, go away already in Stargate Atlantis.
Oh,
he's
the worst in Stargate Atlantis.
Is he a different character in Atlantis than he is in SG-1?
Yeah, Lucian. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Richard Kind.
There's actually a bunch of minor parts get repeated because there aren't that many actors in Vancouver, you know. You do eventually go through all of them.
Apparently.
Richard Kind is one of those that guy actors for me.
Yeah, exactly. You see him and you're like, oh, it's that guy. Yeah.
It's that guy. There he is. And I always have to look him up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like he was like maybe the lead in movies at the end of the 80s, early 90s. Or was he?
I would be surprised.
I just remember him in Spin City, I think.
But any other thoughts on the movie, Sabrina?
You mean aside from the fact that the costumes are freaking amazing? Okay, sorry,
Yes.
like SG-1 I know had a way lower budget, but the scenes when like all of the gold finally show up and the way they replicated like the hairstyles on the kids and then the way they did the costumes, all of the stuff is so beautiful. Like I wish the sets were like that in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god, it's all beautiful. That like little Ra amulet even is really beautifully made. It's like a fun romp through the sand aside from that. It's a really silly movie, like the characters are dorky. Aside from Jack and Daniel and maybe Skara, like the other characters aren't really characters
no one
at
is
all.
memorable.
And like, don't get me started on the fact that like the only girl is like, oh, here she's pretty. I'll sell her to you.
She is a gift. Yeah.
Oh, she likes it now. And then the show is immediately like, well, we need Daniel to come back. How will we have him to come back? Oh, she'll get kidnapped. We'll show her tits. And then, she'll get possessed and she'll never have any agency whatsoever. Cool.
Doing more first impressions, Matt. What did you think of it?
Well,
sorry for that downer.
No. That was a great
fine.
downer.
The thing is, like, you're obviously 1,000% correct. Yeah.
Yep.
As far as that's concerned, and that is one of the many ways, in my opinion, that this movie shows its age.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really, really does. Now, that said, I still enjoyed it. It's still fun.
And James Spader's haircut also.
Oh, James Spader's haircut. My good, that beautiful mullet.
Oh yeah.
Good golly. And seriously, this is all right. I'm embarrassed to admit this, but at one point while I was watching it, I realized that was James Spader, one, and two, never realized that was James Spader until this watching.
Oh wow!
Right, he doesn't look like himself at all in this. Yeah.
No,
he does not.
He really doesn't. He really doesn't.
He's a big fluffy nerd in this one.
Big fluffy nerd. Oh, but there's one part where he's like doing all the research and drinking all the coffee and stuff, and he's wearing like this like long jacket with a hoodie. It's just like this total bohemian look. Anyway, great look. I just remember that specifically. But he's
good.
But he's awesome. He's awesome in it. I think he's really great. And that was one of the things that I remember switching from like the movie to the show when I was younger, being like, well, wait a minute, all these actors are different. You know?
Yeah, I think Scar's the only one who
I want to say there was Scara and no, I think it is just Scara.
Maybe sorry.
Pretty sure it's just him, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to see the continuity point,
got a crossover.
They should have.
Yeah, totally.
How weird is that though? So he has to like replicate the scene where he's like, "O'Neill, you're like a father to me. I'm so happy to see you." Completely different actor.
Well, they brought back the Zippo lighter and everything. So you're like, oh yeah. So if you had seen the movie, you're like, you got a little reward there.
Oh, totally.
Well, I mean, like if you're getting a part based on a movie, you better watch the damn movie.
Yeah.
Any other first impressions, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, like a lot of the things that I am going to talk about are rather specific. But there's a number of things that this movie does that I don't see happening in movies today, for better or for worse. You know, and also just watching it, I don't know if it's because it's an older movie or maybe I just have a more critical eye than I used to, but I was like seeing all the plot points play out. I'm like, okay, well they did this
right.
because they need to get here, etc. And I don't know if that's because I just watch more movies now or if it's because it's an older movie or what. But so it could be all that, but a lot of those really, really stood out to me. And yeah, the one Muppet, the Yak, there's basically just the one Muppet, right?
Oh my god.
Yep. He was a horse and a dog.
Yeah, it's really funny when that thing shows up too, because it just that scene
weird.
Gives me Star Wars vibes like crazy.
Yeah.
Like the sound that it makes. Also, I'm just all right, you guys.
Well, right. I mean, that's like one of those things where like nothing else in the movie is like that. So that to me looks like one.
It was so incongruous.
Yeah, it was
totally. It makes me think like, is this one of those like producer moments? Like, I want a space yak.
I'm not doing anything for this movie until I get my space yak.
Oh God!
I hope so. I hope that's what happened there.
Gary's on about the space yak again. Well, just get it in there.
Jesus Christ!
He just really wants to work with Jim Henson. Okay.
We'll get a horse and a dog. We'll get this. We'll just do it in one day. Let's get this over with.
Yeah. So someone takes some foam and we'll just spray paint it to look like a tongue and just have it awkwardly go over Daniel. That's just the whole.
There's
scene.
your yak, Gary.
Yeah, I'm happy. I got my space yak. I'm producer Gary. Fucking Gary.
Those are what do you think of the movie?
I think Matt was kind of alluding to this. I think the whole movie it does seem like it's from a different time in that it's like kind of walking horror movie territory for some of it, and it's kind of pretending to be an action or adventure movie through some of it. But it just kind of takes it real slow through the whole, the whole thing. Yeah. It's like, it was like maybe felt a little contemplative, but it really, it's not that deep enough to earn contemplative, right?
Yeah, right. Like they just spent a lot of time traveling from place to place.
Yeah, it felt like they didn't really trust the audience to go there with them if they went any faster.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. That's maybe.
That's interesting. Because I noticed that too. The quote unquote bad guys didn't show up until literally halfway through the movie.
Yeah.
And I personally don't see that happening now. Whereas
I'm surprised every single time that it's 2 hours long.
Yeah.
I have a note that says with hour in capital letters, it takes an hour for the alien ship to show up.
Yes,
right.
yes,
right. Yeah, but
All
I
right.
mean, but I
Not
love
get
the
my
attention to
impression just
detail on the set, and that's why that Space Yak is so weird to me. Like everything else looks so meticulously created, and then you've got this wonky slapdash Muppet that it's just like somebody had like a Fozzie bear that they chopped up and then like threw it on top of a horse, and there you go. There's your Space Yak.
And it's that same actor who does like the head of the library in The Mummy. So it's just like I'm sure there's been another shot of him doing that, but with an actual animal.
Yes, right. Yeah, it's nuts.
It's weird.
Yeah, so I mean, the whole thing just kind of felt like a slow motion walk through what could have been like an episode. But again, the characters so different from the characters I'm used to, and I went into this watching it again, wanting to get really really hyped up on it because I remember seeing this with my dad in the theater, and so like anything I saw in the theaters with my dad, that was our thing when I was a teenager. I have like really warm fuzzy feelings for, like I even like Days of Thunder because I saw it with my dad, and
that was a good movie.
Is it though?
I think so. But everybody says it is. Yeah, on the outside. Anyway,
it's the characters are so different and so thin. You've got Daniel, who's a geek, and he's a geek because he is excited about the things he wants to know, and he has allergies. Like, oh, okay, there's your geek.
Yes,
right.
And he wears
he's got glasses too.
And he wears glasses.
Oh, what a nerd!
Allergies.
Poindexter.
Yeah.
Like seriously, I did like that's something that Matt, the same thing like with the allergies, especially. I was sort of like, that's how they indicate that he's a nerd? One of the ways. It's like this guy has
right, like
only nerds have
somehow popularity inoculates you from pollen.
Only smart people have allergies.
Right.
I actually don't have allergies.
Well, you don't?
Must have a good life.
You're not a nerd.
I guess you're not a nerd.
I'm offended by that.
I didn't make the rules. Sorry.
Yeah, and then you've got Kurt Russell, who I don't know what else he was doing in all his preceding years, but he goes from he has this floppy hair, and I don't know if that was a wig or not, but then in the next scene after they have his tender moment, where he's like, oh, this is this broken man, and suddenly he's soldier mode, and he shows up, he's like Guile, and he's his hair is just standing up, and he's ready to rock, and he's all business until they have that very special moment where he's like, no, guns are bad for kids, and gets the gun away from Scar and his scrubs, and I'm like, why did they have that? It seems like a weird. This is our way to show he has depth. That could have been this really tragic, well-developed story, and then he went on to do that in Stargate SG-1 with Jack. But to me that's if you're gonna have that be a hinge piece for his character, that just seems like such a throwaway for it. Why build in why not build in something easier to get to know him instead of having this crushing awful part of his history that they just kind of barely hint at, and then have that 3-second moment later in the movie.
I can answer that question for you, though.
I would love to know.
Please.
Okay. It's really cheating. But it's okay, so his own son died so that void is there, so that void can be replaced by Scar to give him an excuse to have that depth of feeling that he has to rescue him later on. Because Scar is a replacement for his own son.
But they didn't really.
He is the motivation for
and
his action.
You mentioned earlier, they didn't trust the audience, and they were like, we'll show you every little thing. So that point was literally to be like, hey, he thinks of him like the way he thought of his son.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm afraid that's the answer. It's not a happy answer, but there you go.
It's an answer I'll accept.
Checks out.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Good stuff.
Let's see. Other things in my notes. So Scar and his homeboys.
Wait. We're not going through the full list yet. We're not going through the full list of notes yet. We're just doing first impressions.
Right. Very good. First impressions. There you go.
Then we're going to start. We're going to just start shooting from the hip with notes.
Sweet.
After I do mine, my first impression.
All right, let's do it then.
If you guys are ready.
Yeah, rock and roll, dude.
Yeah.
Max, you said what I was going to say, and let me quote the IM you sent me. Watching Stargate, man, I'm starting to understand why I passed on the show years ago. This is nobody's best work.
Oh
no. So, this fucking movie, how dare you take this long a time to do good science fiction. You had millions of dollars, and all we have is just like empty deserts and people, like long expanses of time of not doing anything. So I think like this is like a hint of like the science fiction I started to resent because people don't want to do Star Wars anymore. You guys, is it too weird for you that we have to now have military people in dry locations not doing too much? And that's what I got out of this. I was like, I've had a long time of being bitter at this movie, and then all the things I was bitter about it for, the TV series did all of, and like made up for it. So like I unjustly hated the movies.
We didn't know.
Nope.
Yeah, we didn't know.
Yeah, like starting from like the beginning, like it's military, it's Earth, and then we get to finally space, and it's just a desert with like nothing in it, and it takes an hour for the aliens to show up. So I was mad at science fiction also doing this thing where it was like one and done fiction, and like so like when Star Wars happens, you're seeing the latest crazy thing happen in a universe of like your imagination can keep going. Like just because it happened here, like over around this corner, this is happening, and it's like it's a world that can infect your mind, and you can't help but daydream like what you'd be doing in there. Then like Fifth Element type stuff, where you have this beautiful world around one thing that's the only important thing that's happening. And in this movie, you have a Stargate that goes to one other boring place, and that's it. And then they blow it up, and that's it. And like after it was all, I was like, this is bullshit. Like, you have all this money and imagination. Like, there's an alien out there, and all there is just one alien. You blow it up, and then it's done. And I saw like there was like a book. I'm not sure if it was based off the book, but I turned my nose up at the book. I was like, and there's only one book. I'm so tired of like you guys doing these awesome concepts and then like
build the world, dang it,
not doing anything with it.
And then like the TV series is like, hey Keith, I will do all of the things, and it'll take you 20 years to finally watch it. So.
But we're so glad we did.
The movie I found, the movie I found very frustrating and weak on all the awesome concepts it could have done that they ended up doing like mad in the TV series.
Yeah. But it was very stylish.
Go, Max. Hello?
I don't hear him either.
Uh-oh.
I thought he was being like nice and waiting his turn.
Oh.
Sounds like he might be. So while he's doing that, Sabrina, you're about to say something. Wait.
No, that's all I was going to say about that.
Okay. Then, like, we almost heard Max.
It was close.
Wait, did I cut out or something?
Mm-hmm.
You did, but now you're back.
Hey, I'm back.
Are.
All right. That was weird. Like I said, this computer's like a bomb. It's super touchy. But yeah, Keith kind of underscored what I was thinking and didn't bring up in my first impressions, but it's like Abydos and everything about the alien spaceship just felt weirdly empty and dim. So I don't know if they were going to try and evoke this feeling of a dying race, or I doubt it's that deep. I think it just felt like they didn't want to put their budget there. But
a dying race, like the Asgard.
No, it's just like you have this enormous ship. You have this giant, this whole planet here, and there's like a town, and in the enormous ship, there's like a bad guy and like 4 underlings. Like, was there
a bad guy? You've been at this for 10,000 years. Is this all you could come up with?
Like, come on, guys! Like, get with it.
Dude could have built a civilization out of those people, but he kept them from reading. And the people that he's been oppressing. Is this the best you could do for 10? You can figure out anything for 10,000 years because he didn't let you read.
No, they don't have good yaks. What do you want from them?
Oh Lord, man. This fucking movie. How dare they? It's just like, I'm sorry, like if you get to do science fiction, guys, like but what I think happened was that they had an image in their head, and they wanted to make a movie out of that image. And then what they ran into was all the limits of, like, they're shooting in the desert, and, like, I hear, like, it was, like, I was doing, like, the behind-the-scenes stuff, and, like, 100-plus degree weather. Like, if they wanted to get anything done, they had to do it before the morning started. Everyone was miserable. People, like, extras would stop showing up because they're like, this just hurts.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, with all the limits, and they just wanted to get some good shots, and maybe I think, like, the scene where they're like, yeah, we should have a scene where, you gotta connect to the kid, so we have a reason for you to fight. And then, like, the scene was so weak and awkward to me.
Yes.
And, yeah. I think they were under, like, some heavy conditions, so. Yeah.
Well, let's hope. Let's hope they have a good excuse.
So, firing up our notes here. Sabrina, do you have any notes?
I actually don't.
All right. Do you have anything you want to talk about?
Don't worry, opinions will pop up. I already yelled at the one that I hate the most. Really, the thing I love the most about this movie is that it led to the show.
Yes.
You know. Although, I think I like James Spader more than Michael Shanks. In regards
Definitely.
to Daniel, I think for everybody else. Like, I liked Michael Shanks more when I was younger. I'm not... After my acting training, I watched it again and I was like, I don't really believe anything he does anymore.
I was not a fan of his character whatsoever.
I'm not a fan of Michael Shanks, yeah. I'm afraid not.
Let's see. Matt, what's your first note?
Oh,
wait, no, sorry, really quickly, I wanted to say, sorry, I apologize for cutting you off. But James Spader, some of the fun facts about this movie, James Spader hated it. He thought the movie, the script was crapped.
Well, he's not wrong.
Nope.
He's not wrong.
He did this, he was in this movie only for the paycheck. Like, he's like, I got bills to pay, so. Oh. And he thought sci-fi was dumb, so he was just like, I guess I'll do it. So that's his mindset doing the movie.
Wow. Mm-hmm. Well, he still delivered a great performance.
Yeah, actually, I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
He's a professional, you know?
Yeah, that's right. You got to do it. Hey, a lot of times when I'm doing my job, I'm not having a great time.
Mm-hmm. Right, exactly.
But that's
in fact, most of the time, I'd rather be somewhere else.
That's how it goes. And so that was a job. That was a job for him. Not atypical. So Keith, was that it? Or
Yep. That was my now Matt note.
Okay, my first note is that I am glad that movies don't have long intros like that anymore.
Yes.
Why is it so long? And it's that trope, that late 80s, early 90s trope where you're like going through valleys of something that looks like something, and then it backs up and it's, then you see what it is. Like I remember Batman was the first time I ever saw that happen, the Michael Keaton Batman.
That is a trope of like all the 80s movies ever that makes me chuckle each time it happens, where they take up your fucking time. They're like, you ain't going nowhere. So
yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Here's this guy who did this, here's that did this.
Yeah. And at a certain point while I'm watching it, I'm just like sitting there struggling. And then I realized, wait a minute, I can fast forward through this.
Ta-da!
Why am I watching these?
You did it?
Yeah. I was like, I remember the plot well enough. I did fast forward through some bits. I'm just like,
I fast forwarded a bit through the intro. Absolutely.
I rewatched it like a year or so ago, so I was like,
You're good.
Sorry, Keith.
No, it's funny too. I wanted to experience the frustration, so that's the whole thing.
But that was my first note. How are we doing this? We're just gonna go through the whole dang thing, or we're gonna go back and forth. What do you want to do?
If we can like jump around, but like if you like say that note, then you're like, but I really want to touch on this next one. Feel free to do that.
All right. Well,
but if you want to pass the mic,
well, I'll do one more, and then we'll move on. And that's still near the beginning of the movie. They just let that little girl take that amulet. Is this how archaeological dig sites were in 1923?
Yes. Listen, this is how they are, right? You have like the three Swedish people who just run and pay for everything, and then they get to have everything, and then they bring everything home, and then it gets put in museums.
That's how how it all works.
Until they discovered ethics, and then they change a bit.
I mean, not even, you're laughing, but Egyptologists have to be very specifically allowed into Egypt to study, and they don't let just anybody in, specifically because so many of their stuff got looted.
Yikes.
It was actually, no, you know what? Now that you mentioned that, it was a free-for-all back then.
Mm-hmm.
And it was to the point where people just would have mummies.
Just hanging around, yeah.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would have oh my gosh, they would have unwrapping. This is awful. I'm sorry, but they would have unwrapping parties.
Holy hell.
Yeah.
That is a thing to look up.
Yeah, so oh my god, so many curses. Just
earned.
Well earned.
You had this one coming.
Curse. But so yeah, I think Sabrina, yeah, exactly, kind of like what you sparked there. Yeah, that probably would just happen. Like that amulet sitting out there. Oh, daughter of Swedish guy who's paying for everything. Take the amulet.
Yeah,
it's depressing.
Quite, and it makes you think like how many like artifacts were just lost.
How much of history has been lost through just people grabbing toys off the floor?
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Untold. But I will after that one I will pass the mic.
Cool. Max, what's your note?
My next note is Jimon Hansu is one of the Jaffa or gods. I guess they didn't call him Jaffa in the movie.
Jaffa.
But I was just glad to see him. I'm always glad to see him because he was great in Gladiator, and I have inordinate love for Gladiator. Good. So, but no, I just kind of love some of these little very 90s like artifacts, like the weirdly robo voice of the Malp, of that little ride-along drone thing that is like. I know they had better digitized voices at that time, but they wanted to like really underscore that, hey, this is a high-tech computer thing. So here's your wonky.
Which scene did this happen?
Johnny Five voice. The little autonomous drone thing that they had going with them, on the crawler.
Gotcha.
They call it a Malp in SG-1 but it had a voice,
I made that
and it was
joke
telling them like, this is a breathable atmosphere, but it was I can't do the computer voice, but it was a very, I would say 80s like digitized computer voice, like and just so over the top, but it just made me smile because I'm like,
when O'Neill said we're sending the probe, like in my living room, I pushed up my glasses. It's called a Malp.
Exactly.
It's a Malp. So anyway,
yeah. And then I had some notes about Shao. I guess she's called Shaori in that instead of Shari. But her being offered as a gift to freaking Daniel because. And they continue in the show.
But you have to take her because otherwise we will be offended. All right.
Right, yeah. Clearly,
I must.
That's what we do. Yeah. But then, like, Skara, who's her brother, and like, his scrubby friends are all kinds of pervy about it. I'm like, dude, that's your sister. What?
Yeah, dude, weird.
Why are you so cool with this?
Oh, my gosh.
But, yeah, that whole thing was... And like... Daniel never comes out and says it either. He's just like so super awkward about it, which I guess is like underscoring this guy's a nerd and he's uncomfortable with sex and he's like
right.
It's all built into like very 90s nerd tropes too.
Yep.
So
yep.
Good times. Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah, that was extremely cringy.
Yeah, there are some things I'm glad are not in films anymore, and that's
oh my god, that's
certainly
one of them.
I mean, I wish I could say it was never in movies anymore, but it's certainly in movies less.
It is.
Right.
Less.
I also, on top of that, it's starting the trope of that women love Daniel Jackson for some fucking reason.
Yeah, for some reason. For why?
I'm like, you've got a Jack right over here. You've got Sam. Which Sam should be pulling it off,
Sam.
Right?
Yeah.
Especially when John Crichton showed up.
Oh my god.
That makes sense.
Exactly.
I wouldn't want that man.
Yeah.
Beautiful man. Pass the mic?
Sure. Yep. Pass the mic.
All right. Let's see. So when I first started watching it, though, I was like, oh my god! Now that I'm a full-on Stargate fan, and I've been to the Pegasus Galaxy itself. This music is taking me away. Like, am I going to end up liking this movie this time around? Because actually, I think I forgot that I disliked it, and I was just like, oh my. Yeah, I was getting ready. I was like, "Oh, the music is right on," and then like the build up was fantastic.
A good score will trick you.
The music, the pacing leading up to like the lady going, "It's your Stargate." I'm like, oh, yes, this thing that takes us on countless adventures, and then like the whoosh happens, and so at first I did like the movie a lot because I was like, this is the start of so many adventures that I got to experience.
It was good. It was good to see the Kawoosh, in its first form, and then the ring, the ring transporters that I love so much. Oh, I wish I had a way to just get up and down the stairs in my house with those.
I'd love that.
Oh my god!
Just the best sound.
Love that sound effect so much. There's a video on YouTube about talking about how racist it is for scientists to be like, these massive, amazing structures and complexity. There's no way these people could have made them. It had to be aliens. Where, they never say that about, like, Roman structures or whatnot. Yep. So, I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, oh, yeah, that's the start of this kind of thing, where you go to an ancient culture and say that it's impossible for them to figure out math. And
luckily they've got a white guy to figure it out, so.
Thanks, Dan Jackson. But yeah, then like I kind of wonder if like the guy who's in the memes that goes aliens, like how much how much does Stargate like start his like stupid career of bullshit?
Keith, I actually one of my notes was like, wait a minute, is this where that Ancient Aliens guys like got all this?
I mean, this movie was pretty huge.
Yeah.
And
I mean, that said, I think that like the whole Ancient Aliens thing, I mean, it's been going on for a while, but yeah, this really, it made me think of Aliens guy as well. And I don't know, I mean, it's sort of funny you mentioned that about the like, oh, well, they're not, old Greeks or whatever, and so how could they have done it? It's a different culture. I guess the way I always took that is that the Egyptian stuff was better, or like more advanced or harder to put together. The size of the stones, etc. Not so much like, well, this is on par with like the Colossus.
But I mean,
definitely agree.
The size of the stones at Stonehenge are pretty massive.
Good point. Yeah. And that's another one where people were like, well, wait a minute, did they do this on their own? But I'm sure they figured that one out. But also, like, I think there's.
Go ahead, Matt.
And they drag those stones from Wales all the way to where they are, and I only know that because of the Elvis song.
The what song?
There's an Elvis song called Stonehenge. You know Elvis? What does the fox say?
Yes. Yes. I love. I love it.
Yeah, they have a.
What's the deal with Stonehenge?
Oh my god! All right.
The music video is particularly amazing. He's like a great comedian, but like a lady goes down on him, and he's like, "Yeah, that's cool, but while you're doing that, what's the meaning of Stonehenge?"
It's.
I'm not familiar with these people.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah, it's the what does the fox say game? Don't worry about it. We'll link you.
Gotcha.
We'll take care of
this. We got you. And you're gonna like it.
I would say the reason why they were able to do this is like they had nothing else to do back then. There was no comic books, there was no internet, there's no television. What else are you gonna do? Like, I got this stone here, man.
And can't even argue about politics. They're just moving stones.
Right.
Just move stones.
Yeah.
No,
right.
I mean the ancient Egyptians had some badass math going on. Like
they did.
The more modern archaeologists, have figured out how they did all their calculations and stuff, and they're like, yeah, all of this is totally doable by them. They were pretty wrong, and it was pretty racist to assume they couldn't have done this, but they just
at least it gave us this movie.
Yeah, right. Cool. So I mean,
sort of.
Thanks, racists.
This movie's kind of.
See, you guys did something. You guys, you're good for at least a one or two good ideas that give us something better.
But they're kind of like wishy-washy about it too, because they're like, the pyramids were not built by the ancient Egyptians, but the gold did come down and find that culture already existed, and then they assumed the gods to be themselves. Like they were like, I will be Ra. So like the movie like doesn't even know which one it wants to do.
It's a mess.
Because it has one alien.
Just the one alien. And to that one alien's credit, I kind of like him as an alien horror movie design. Like,
he's because he's like a gray, or do you mean the guy who?
He's not really like gray. Like just very... it looks like this mummified kind of weirdish, unusual.
But you're not getting
kind of a gray, but like an extended gray.
Oh man, I was totally getting gray vibes from his OG form.
Are we talking about Dorian Gray right now?
Yes. The Ra has a painting in the top of the pyramid.
So Gray's like your classic alien, like you'd find like on the cover of Communion.
Oh, gotcha. Gotcha.
But like the tall gray, not the really short ones.
Yeah, like tall gray, smaller head, right? Don't the tall grays have smaller heads? Okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Although that might be the perspective of them lording over everyone in all of the images there.
Oh, that could be.
Real quick, at the beginning of the movie, when Dan Jackson is talking about aliens, some guy goes, "Ha ha ha! You mean like Atlantis? Like that'll ever happen?" Oh my God. And then like it turned into Stargate Atlantis, was like one of my favorite TV shows of all time. But yeah, it's kind of cool that there's someone in his aisles making fun of Atlantis, which I'm not sure how connected that was to making the TV show happen.
I'm sure it wasn't, but who cares? It's fun.
That actually
great coincidence.
That kind of goes into one of my notes, and is it? I think that the room full of dismissive scientists is just like a single actor, or just like it's a group of people that they hire. Like, all right, we need a room full of dismissive scientists for this movie. Get them in there.
They put on their hats and their long coats. They're like, all right, time to earn that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Nick, put on your tweed.
Preposterous.
And that one guy stays like an uncomfortable 3 or 4 beats too long after everyone else leaves the room, and he's like, no, I'm not even out. Takes off.
I'll talk just to you then.
Weird.
Nah, I also think you're dumb. Bye.
Let's see. Other balls that they drop. They mentioned that the planet they're being zapped to is on the other side of the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
I don't like it when you throw terms like that around. Because, if
the other side of the known universe, this is pretty big.
Yeah, I understand that most people don't care, I think, about that kind of stuff. But, when I hear it, I'm just like, hey, you can use whatever word you want, and, you can still blow people's mind. Maybe it's that far across the galaxy. That's still pretty far.
But
so, yeah,
also,
I was gonna say, yeah, go ahead.
How much of the known universe did we have mapped in when this movie came out as opposed to now?
Oh my good question.
Yeah, so different. Yeah, it is
I'm
weird.
not sure when we found out how gigantic everything is, because it seems to keep changing in the last couple decades. So
well, I mean, Infinity pretty much covers it, but yeah.
Well, to me, what comes to my mind is I'm too much of a nerd, and I go, well, if it's across the known universe, then the probabilities there are pretty fantastic.
Right.
Maybe in you have to go all the way outside our was it the visible universe to finally find other consciousnesses. That's huge. It's an amazing idea that you guys could talk about. Oh no, let's
just kidding. They mean on the other side of the galaxy.
Yeah.
Yep, just get machine guns. Let's go. Okay, fine.
Fair enough.
Let's not do anything with this then.
Yeah, I did catch that. It was on Abydos was some other galaxy in some distant galaxy, and I'm like, what? This is it's got to be close. But I like how they did it in the show better. But carry on.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, going with that, kind of, they talk a lot about the constellations. Right?
Yes.
And we're now okay. I might be thinking of this wrong, but at least on Earth, weren't the constellations different?
Yes.
Back then, when
they sure were. Mm-hmm. And they mentioned that drift in Stargate. I think SG-1 probably not.
And Children of the Gods, I mentioned it.
Probably pretty early on, but
applause.
Yeah, actually, the show does a lot of fixing plot holes like that. But That is an issue that I always have with Stargate. Just the way the world functions, you have to just be like, okay, forget it. They didn't think about it, whatever. But, from every single one of those planets that you would be on, the star constellations would look different because all the constellations are in 3 dimensions and we're seeing them in 2 dimensions. So, like, the whole system of the symbols looking like certain constellations is bullshit anyway.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
So there you go.
It took me until Stargate made fun of itself when they said that all alien civilizations speak English. I was like, oh holy shit! Like, I guess, like, I'm so used to Star Trek where that's always explained away by universal translators. That, like, my brain was like, don't worry about it, it's universal translators.
Yeah.
Wait, they don't have that. They even tried to cover that up. Fuck it, I don't care. I'm gonna shoot some machine guns and kill some aliens. Yep.
Q.
Max, any other notes?
So I did think it was kind of funny that Skara and Nabe and whatever the other unnamed children they were. Oh hey, I've got a 5-year-old here. Hey buddy.
What's up, Neil?
I did find it kind of funny that they like instantly figured out how firearms work and like we're quick to employ them against the
right.
They're like, there's these metal things we've never seen. Yeah, we're gonna mess somebody up.
Yeah, the way they shoot those bullets in the air too is very much like, yep, that's the thing that we would have in the movies in the 80s, sure, yes. But like, why would those kids do that? And why did everybody else duck? Like, they heard the firearms and they just knew that they were bullets somehow, even though they've only ever been around energy weapons. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the 5 energy weapons in that pyramid. But, yeah.
It's just the zappy guns that they've seen a couple times. The zappy sticks, excuse me.
Yeah.
Then there's the cute scene where they give the one guy a Fifth Avenue candy bar.
I was like,
no one's.
This is your product.
No
one's
ever eaten a Fifth Avenue.
Oh my god!
That's what I was saying. Like no one back then ate Fifth Avenue candy
Fifth
bars.
Avenue was all over this movie.
Like, what a weird sponsorship.
I don't think I've ever had one.
I think I've got one in like a Halloween assorted bag or something as a kid. Like I've had them. Yeah. They're unremarkable.
And then I guess like what came to mind was like you don't know what this guy's digestive system is like. Can he handle like you're on another planet? He's never had this before.
Oh yeah,
are you gonna kill
really
him?
Fuck him
we
up.
Don't know.
Hey, he could be lactose intolerant.
We don't know, but fuck it, just give him candy bar. I don't care. We're just meeting aliens for the first time, as far as you know.
While we're talking about that scene, though, did you notice that Stargate Atlantis has a reference to the movie? There's a bit where they go the first time they meet the Janai. Yeah. They have to like join the festival, and they all get drinks, and then Ford is like, "Oh my god, this is moonshine!" And Taylor and the rest of the aliens laugh. Hey, they're all like drinking.
I'm not getting the movie reference.
That's I think. Are you thinking of the first episode of the show?
Oh, I guess I am.
Where Scar's got Scar and his
buddies. Yeah, and they all drink, and then O'Neill takes it, and he's like,
yeah. O'Neill's like a shocked parent.
You're all drinking this? Well, yeah. What else do you do out here in the desert in the middle of nowhere with no written language? Obviously, we get drunk.
Gotcha. So that was in the first SG-1 or Atlantis?
That's SG-1.
Gotcha. Okay. Then yes, I may have remembered that. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I just like combine the movie and the episode at this point.
That is the best way to do it. One of my notes says that this movie makes me want to watch Krull.
Really?
It's like this. It's like. I was sensing the bending toward the X-Filesization of science fiction, where everything's just dry and everything looks normal, and like Krull's just wild, crazy shit every scene, and the backgrounds are wild and push your imagination. So seeing them in like just desert settings and huts, and occasionally inside the ship.
Yeah, like if you're gonna do sci-fi, give me something that's not on Earth.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Do some freaking awesome stuff.
Yeah.
But instead, they sit on beds of dirt.
Let's go to probably the most boring place they can go. The desert.
I mean, SG-1 does respond by just going to Pacific Northwest forests everywhere.
Yeah.
A little more interesting than a desert, at least.
Let's see.
It's just, for me, it's hard to reconcile like a structure in a desert with nothing around it, and they have to how far do you say that town is? Like at least 5 miles away from the one pyramid?
Yeah, that is a pretty weird.
But, like, there would be so much around it if that was like the dependable solid
does
structure.
This guy have only one? Sorry. Another note. Does this guy only have 9 henchmen? Like,
yeah,
how does that happen?
4 soldiers, like 2 pilots,
and a bunch of kids.
And a bunch of kids.
And a creepy bunch of kids. Like, and the
although
actor,
I mean,
go ahead.
Good touch for Egyptian culture of all of the little kids just like body shielding him, like really, but creepy.
Yeah, creepy, but
Mm-hmm.
appropriate touch for what they're going for.
Mm-hmm.
And then the actor for Ra has, he has an extremely youthful look. I don't know how old he was during the filming. I know he's been in a number of movies before that, or
aggressively beautiful. He's aggressively beautiful.
Indeed.
But yeah, so he has that like kind of ageless look, and then he has got, this weird batch of kids running around with his 4 or 5 soldiers.
I wasn't fully getting his shtick though.
He's a creepy bad guy. He's like an anime villain.
He moved seductively, but like I don't think he really wanted anyone. But then, like, are you a badass? But all you can do is like knock people across the room, and like your eyes and your smile makes it seem like you're just so powerful. But you can make your ship go up and down. That's about it. Like,
right? Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're smug about, dude. Like,
yeah.
Why are you acting so cocky?
Well, there's the one time that he like fried one of his guards' brains, right?
Right. It took like an hour.
Yeah, you're running out here.
I was like, dude, maybe you should have, warm up first if you're gonna do that. Like,
the guy's deal that he had going on, you need more to back that up.
Y'all forget, up until that point, he was subjugating a bunch of people who didn't even have writing.
Right. Yeah.
That he had, like, deliberately kept all tools from, and that were trained in, like, mining and fear. So, he didn't really have to be much of a badass to keep them subjugated, and then a bunch of dudes showed up with guns, and he's like, I think I'm the best thing in the world, and they're like, hey, you've never met an American.
In 16, who? Now, did the guns work on the guard's armor? I don't know if I should call him Jafar or not.
I don't actually recall.
I don't think they worked in the beginning, right? Because I thought those first few shots, like, that made the guards seem invincible. Or no, they were just the guards were just taking them out left and right because they were stealthy. That's right.
Yeah. At first they're overpowered ninjas, and
that's right.
By the end of it, then they just turn into foot soldiers.
2 hit point ninjas.
Yep. Well, they're lethal in that feel the threat scene, and then they're not so lethal when they actually do anything.
I will say, the helmets on the guards in the movie are awesome.
Badass.
They are so good, and the way they like retract from their heads and whatnot. It just, I mean, especially for how old the movie is, that looks great.
Yes.
Yeah, for early CGI, like when first hit, when you first saw it, that was like, what? That was a mind blowing moment when it first happened in the theater. But then, like, the bad part of that is like me going, why are you guys taking it off? Like, it doesn't give you? It looks like it gave them more protection power.
Yeah.
Then they just
because they can't see out of it. Apparently,
right. This is pure intimidation with the big helmet. Right. It actually doesn't do anything. We can't see anything.
I can't see anything.
Whoa! I have to fight now. I gotta take this thing off. But yeah, I guess that's like one of my like a small pet peeve of mine when you have something cool. Like, stop taking your mask off. Put your mask back on. I'm not fighting some dude. I want to fight the mask guy. Put the mask on.
Yeah, that's it.
Now your head got cut off.
But I'm sure fighting in those masks was really difficult and hard to do for the actors. Mm-hmm. And so for like the real knockdown, drag out Kurt Russell fights, mask got to go off.
Send my regards to King Cut Asshole.
That was hilarious.
That's Kurt Russell. Yeah, Kurt Russell also was very un-Kurt Russell.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't he?
Yeah, I love that guy as the wisecracking Foolio. Him being just straight-laced stern was a bit dry for my low
Kurt Russell.
Yeah, for sure. Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell. Well, there's that trope they talk about a lot with like movies, action movies especially, where the main character will be like really blank slate, so that you can fit yourself into there. And if that's what was happening with Kurt Russell in this movie, I get it, but like, dear God, just put a little more in it. Like, what about that kid of yours that just passed away? Like, what? There's just nothing.
Yeah,
I'm sad.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. He need. I would have liked if he was the guy who said that one liner the entire movie. Other than that, like, yeah, it seemed like out of place for him to. Or I guess what we're seeing was losing his kid. He lost himself, and then through this adventure, we finally see him wake back up again. Mm-hmm. So then it makes sense that he's maybe wisecracking and smiling and walks off into the Stargate.
Right. Yeah, but he definitely went on the journey. And then at the end, there's that scene where, we see all the good things happening, and they keep cutting back to Kurt Russell's reactions.
Right.
Which is, again, I think a very 90s trope, those two were kissing. Oh, those crazy kids.
Oh, yep.
But I mean, have you guys seen Escape from New York?
Yes.
I feel like Snake Plissken, he's pretty just kind of like gruff in there.
Sure, yeah.
True. My favorite Kurt Russell is Big Trouble in Little China.
Absolutely. So good.
That is most Russell.
Max Russell.
Speak of Russellus.
Have you all seen Big Trouble in Little China?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Just making sure. And listener, how about you as a point toward the camera? Go watch Big Trouble in Little China if you haven't.
Good stuff.
Any other notes to crack off?
Well, here's one. So when Jackson is in the car with the lady, and
Langdon,
she offers him that job, and he immediately turns it down, and I'm like, what? What are you doing? Why would you turn down that job? And she's like, well, I know the position you're in. Those suitcases right there, that's all you have. I know you've lost your job. I'm like, oh, he turned down that job so we could hear some exposition.
Right,
yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh. Yep.
I thought, okay, I like that scene too, but what I was going to zero in on was how much it mirrored The Matrix, where I was expecting her to go, you've already been down that road, Neo, as it's raining outside. And anyway, that's what came to my mind. I was like, oh, she didn't say it. Oh, she kind of said it. That you have nowhere else to go, Neo.
Yep. Yeah.
That's it. Come with us. That's all it was for. And it was just glaring.
Oh yeah.
What now?
The people who made the movie are not Americans, so that might be why the American soldiers acted like they do, cartoonishly assholey American soldiers, where they're just pushing around poor Dan Jackson like dumbasses.
My God.
Hey, nerd, science nerd, why don't you stop being a nerd?
Yeah.
Do more science.
Hey, Ferretti, why don't you go pick on the nerd? Yeah, I'll go pick on the nerd.
What are all these books for?
We don't read books. Oh, God, yeah, let's push around the one guy who can get us back to Earth.
Yeah.
Let's do that.
Isn't that how you were bullied in high school?
People just knocking books out of your hand whenever they appear. Yeah.
It was
how dare you have books in a school?
Unforgivable nerd.
That'd be cool.
Now I went to school full of nerds.
Yeah. I actually I don't want
Sorry.
I was bullied, not to turn this into a bully thing, but I was bullied quite a bit, like in grade school and middle school. And as soon as I joined the wrestling team, it stopped.
Yes,
cool.
Same.
Imagine that joining a sport made people not want to make you mad.
After finding myself through a book called The Halfling's Gem through a hero named Jistuert and gained confidence with myself, I finally turned to my bullies and I could see them for the fools they were, and they stopped bothering me.
That's great.
True story.
Nice.
Yeah,
you read that?
Sorry to get all deep about it.
Hold on 1 sec. Keith, you read The Halfling's Gem first?
No, but that was like the clincher.
Oh, okay.
Like the first 2 books are like, holy shit, this is me. I feel this character. And then like the final Halfling's Gem, Driss is going through all the struggle of like being bullied through himself on top of the world. And the last book, There you go.
All right, I'm with you. I just thought you read them out of sequence. Yeah.
Nope. But I did see the Halfling Gems first in the library. I was like, fuck that book. Little did I know.
Yeah, that cover was underwhelming.
Yep. Because it was white guy dressed.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Anyway, but that's another story.
Okay, yeah, but you have to tell me what the name of the series is.
What's the first?
Crystal Shard.
The Crystal Shard?
Let's see. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
What was the first trilogy? No,
the Icewind
Dale. The first book is the Crystal Shard, but is there a name for the first? No, the Icewind Dale trilogy.
Yep.
Okay.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, those books help define like me and Max.
The best.
Nice.
Great series.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty big.
Yeah, that was like foundational philosophy for me turning into a real person.
Wow.
Yep.
Oh, well, I should definitely read it.
Stuff.
The Keith Hayward that you know finally came online fully. I was like, so this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
I have never come online fully. Is that a thing that ever happens?
I would put it off if you have the option.
I think there are periods of times when you find it. Like 3 Body Problem also kind of forged me pretty hard. So that was pretty cool. A funny little note that I hear says, this music acts like something grand happened, but they're still just walking nuts.
Yep.
Because the music just like...
The composer didn't read the script. They're just trying.
The music was going wild.
The composer did a better job than this movie deserved.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes. They're just walking. Like, okay. This is epic.
Yeah, when the music came on, I was like, oh yeah, this music. I remember this music. It's very epic.
It's good.
It's
it is
great.
very good.
Yeah. There is one part where where Jackson and the military guys and everything are like hanging out with the people on this planet, and they're sharing food. And I believe one of them says, like the guy who's in charge of the natives says, like Biniwa, I think.
Oh yeah.
And it's sort of like, it just seemed very much like a greeting, or not like a greeting, kind of like, yeah, we're sharing in this moment, you know. And I couldn't help but think of Ba Weep Grana.
Yes.
Yeah. Ba Weep Grana.
Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bong. And then they dance.
Breen, have you watched Transformers the movie?
It's a billion years ago.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
I watch it. I watch
Probably
it
don't
every
have that
15
tattooed on
minutes.
your arm then.
But
Right.
yeah, well, there's a scene where they that's supposed to be the universal greeting. And that when they said Biniwa in Stargate, that's what it made me think of.
Ba Weep Grana Weep Ninny Bong.
And it worked.
Ba Weep Grana. Fun fact: the Stargate was originally a triangle, and then they're like,
fun fact.
Yeah, and then they're like, wait, we want to make a dial? Okay, fuck it. We're going to make a circle. And then it was black. And they're like, God, it looks like a tire. And then the final design is what we got.
Huh.
Interesting.
Phew.
No
dodged a bullet there.
Yeah.
Although triangles, fuck that, man.
There's a planet in Destiny, if you play Destiny, Mercury, where there's like a splitting time that you can go through. It's called the Tree of Possibilities or whatever, and it looks like a Stargate, but it's triangular. And I wonder if they did that on purpose.
Huh. Trying to picture how that would work, even just opening and.
Well, it's like it's always open for Destinies, but yeah, if you have a dial, you can't have a triangle.
True.
Triangles are weird that way.
Let's see.
They don't dial well.
Dial well.
So, So,
They don't
so my thing, one of my things with the end of the movie is it just all seemed to wrap up suddenly. Like they just kind of ran out of whatever energy or whatever. Like
they're like, we already ran 2 hours,
and then like 5 minutes later the movie's done. Like no big big secret discovery or anything. It's just got him.
I feel like that was a thing in the 90s. Well, yeah, like this is a thing I hate in movies. I'm not sure if it was like in the 90s or maybe it's still going. But I want cuddle time afterwards. Like if you're gonna do like some grand movie, or if you're gonna rock me, especially if you do a good job, like hold me afterwards. Mm-hmm. Don't leave. And a lot of movies just like they do the climax and bam, they're out. Like where's my epilogue? Like we had an adventure, and yeah, this definitely was like explosion. All right, let's get out of here.
Okay, bye. Okay.
What was that?
Yeah. Okay, bye. That's what I said.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
yeah,
right,
get out.
You guys have this thing that can jump across the universe. Maybe we should.
No, but I gotta work in the morning.
Oh no, okay.
You gotta get out of here.
Pretty much.
All right.
I get out of here.
Get out of here.
Daniel, you're staying? Okay, yeah, sure. Yeah. I'm just gonna, bye.
You have no loved ones? We're wrapping this up. We gotta wrap this up. Like, all right.
Yeah, we already found out he's got nothing at home. No one likes him. He's
got no friends.
He's broke. He just got kicked out of his apartment. He only has 2 bags.
Yeah, he has foster parents, so they're like, oh, I guess he's got no family that we're gonna validate here, so like we're good with him being elsewhere.
Yeah, all tied up. Nice.
Yeah, that was
pretty
super
weird.
Yeah, and you saw Daniel's suitcases on that military cart. Before they put it through the gate, they have like all these like really fancy military looking cases and whatnot, and then Daniel's broke ass looking suitcases. Yeah.
2 bags.
Well, if the movie doesn't care, I don't care either. Goodbye. We're gonna do a TV series. Fuck you.
Okay, let's talk about the TV
Fuck
series.
Your TV
instead.
series. I don't want to hear about it. My bad. I was wrong. Yeah, the TV series came along and they're like,
they went, that was stupid. Like, that was stupid. That was stupid. Let me fix that.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, a list. Yeah. They like on the ground. They found a list of all of my complaints. They're like, "Hey, we could do this.
Big list.
Let's do all of this." You're right. There's not enough spaceships in this.
Of course, that was on your list. Of course, I was.
And wow,
wait, which is your favorite spaceship from Stargate?
What's my favorite spaceship from Stargate?
Yeah.
Oh, I think I like the was it Orion class? The ship they keep blowing up from the like in Pegasus, they keep on running into ancient Corvette ships.
Yep, and then blowing them up.
Yep.
Yeah, like you could make a TV show on that ship if you'd stop destroying them.
I mean,
and actually,
that's kind of what they
come around.
Kind of.
Did they have any of those that last more than an episode?
Puddle jumpers?
Well, no, not the puddle jumpers. The Orion class.
Oh, no. I mean, that's kind of what the idea for Universe was.
Yeah.
But it just didn't pan out.
Had some ideas.
And I'm also falling.
Had some ideas.
I give in. I fall in love with the puddle jumpers. Like I've had so many adventures on those little stupid shuttles with their big.
They're so funny.
Displays.
They're just like a set. They're just like, we built a box for everybody to be in. We can all see everyone clearly. We will put a giant window on the front so it's easy to look inside. Perfect.
It is a box with a giant window on the front, and I've had so much fun in them. So yes,
I love the way they dock.
Some puddle jumpers. I don't think I've seen that yet. Right?
You might have
perfectly on.
But I'm not sure. I think it ducks.
Oh man, 305s. Those 305 fighter ships
are
fantastic. I love those. Those are perfect fighter ships. And I like how the Tauri can make ships that are, at least when it comes to fighter ships, more than a match for any aliens. Because usually, like in science fiction, if before ID4 at least, like any alien ship could just kick the shit out of anything we had. But yeah, I like that we are able to make some ships that can tangle with the badasses. Do you have a favorite ship, Sabrina?
I mean, those Atlantis, like, ships, they're hard to beat.
Yeah.
They're designed to be, like, super cool. I mean...
Yeah, I like how much I don't like. I'm weird like that. Like, sometimes if you make a ship that's, like, a bad design...
it's always the right time deal.
Hey, want to go to Mickey D's for lunch?
Ooh, let's go now.
But it's not lunchtime yet.
If we're going to McDonald's, it's always the right time.
Yeah, it's hard to argue with that.
There's a deal for every lunch hour at McDonald's.
And there's a classic for every craving. Mix and match 2 for just $3.50, like a McChicken, a McDouble, or a hot and spicy McChicken. Price and participation may vary. Single item at regular price. Cannot be combined with any other offer.